George Russell, GP3 championship winner, F2 championship winner, #1 driver for the Mercedes F1 team, 5-time race winner, and Formula One's latest Grand Prix winner. And with all these stats, you might think to yourself, he has to be one of the brightest stars in F1's future, with everyone backing him to win at least one championship. But that's just not the case. In a world of Verstappens, Leclerc's, Piastris, everyone seems to just forget George Russell. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about George Russell, why people don't like him, his championship chances in his future career, and the overall talent that he possesses. So first off, whenever I'm talking about an F1 driver, we have to look at their stats and see exactly what we are playing with. And I mean, just take 2025 for instance. He has been immaculate. So far in 2025, he has 1 race win under his belt, and considering where Mercedes have been this whole season, that is absolutely phenomenal. When the car was performing right, he was on it like a car bonnet, making sure that he got the most out of it. He's had a pole position again at the exact same race. He's had 5 podiums, which in F1 this season, considering you have Ferrari fighting for them, Verstappen as well, and McLaren's mostly always on the podiums, having half of the Grand Prix, you being on the podium is absolutely sensational, and this consistency is really what is bringing him up in the championship this season, with him now standing 4th in the Drivers' Championship. Now, of course, is he in the Drivers' Championship fight? By all means, absolutely not, at least this season, but it's just absolutely incredible, considering at some points we have been talking about Verstappen's chances for the championship, even though they are quite slim. George Russell's only 19 points behind him. And I mean, take even before 2025, 2022 to 2024, when he was having Hamilton as his teammate, the head-to-head is astonishing. He has beaten Hamilton in 2 of the 3 seasons that they were together. Overall, he beat Hamilton 39 to 29 on qualifying. Race finishes, he beat Hamilton 30 to 28, and over their entire time together, he was only 2 points off Lewis Hamilton this entire time. Considering Hamilton is a 7-time world champion, I genuinely can't tell you who else could do this. I mean, just take a look at Hamilton's career so far. So far, Hamilton has drawn with Fernando Alonso in 2007, both on 109 points. He got beaten by Jenson Button in 2011, and he got beaten infamously by Nico Rosberg in that 2016 championship season. So he has been beaten by his teammate twice throughout his career. George Russell comes around, and he has added double to that tally. Now Hamilton's been beaten 4 seasons, and 2 of them were George bloody Russell. Coming back to the 2025 season, looking at his head-to-head with Antonelli. On races, excluding sprint races, he's beaten Antonelli 10-0. Every single race this season, he has beaten Antonelli. And then you look at the qualifying, and it's 9-1. I mean, hey, George Russell is a whopping 73 points ahead of Antonelli. And now you might be telling yourself, well, Antonelli's been quite unlucky. He's had a DNF in Spain, DNF in Imola, all of that Monaco shenanigans. But these are races where George Russell also struggled, just because the Mercedes wasn't that great. So to have already double the points of your teammate, even though he is a rookie, again, is brilliant from George Russell. So I think we've pretty much cleared up at the start of this video. His stats are not an issue. These stats are very much showing at least a very talented driver who shows they can have race wins, who shows they can be the #1, but again, people really still don't respect him. Why is this? Well, in F1, it's not always just the stats. F1, at the end of the day, also is a popularity contest. Take, for instance, the driver of the day. This is a very good showing for exactly how popular a driver is. We had it in Monaco. We had Norris getting pole position ahead of Leclerc, winning the race ahead of Leclerc. He looked pretty comfortable most of the race. Charles Leclerc still got the driver of the day for it being his home race, and Lando Norris isn't really a popular driver these days. And again, it goes to Canada. George Russell, pole position. George Russell, race win. Again, realistically, probably should have been winning driver of the day, but didn't, because Kimi Antonelli, who is a preferred driver, got his first podium. Again, a great showing from him, so also could have been up for grabs of which one's got it. But Antonelli clean sweep the votes and got driver of the day. And realistically, a lot of it comes down to a lot of arrogance he has in the media. And basically, a lot of people just don't respect a lot of the things he says. And he does talk a lot of crap about other drivers in a lot of interviews. interviews. Take for example Max Verstappen and George Russell. This massive clash has always been a thing. They had an incident back in Baku where George Russell hit Verstappen, giving him damage. They had a whole conversation after this session, and again, if you're going up against Verstappen, he's got a lot of diehard fans, you're going to end up with a lot of people hating you, and he's done this multiple times. A lot of quirky remarks to Verstappen, like his remark in Canada talking about the penalty points, how he has a lot less, so he'd be a lot more feisty. Back in Qatar 2024, George Russell Verstappen had another incident. Verstappen thought he had covered it off, sort of went behind his back and got the FIA involved. Verstappen was having none of it, and again, a lot of these things don't make you a very likeable driver. But it isn't just his arrogance that sets him back a little bit in people's minds. It is also because he gets these great stats that I've just shown, but a lot of these stats don't also show how many crashes and collisions he gets into. Like I mentioned earlier, he's had plenty of collisions with Verstappen. I mean, hey, just go back into Spain and he did a bit of an audacious dive bomb, which then led to the Mad Max moment. Now, George Russell wasn't at fault for the second part, but definitely was at fault for the first part. I mean, you have Australia 2024 as well. Carlos Sainz, final lap, ready to win a race. George Russell bins it on the final lap, brings out the red flag. Again, Singapore 2023, he's sitting comfortably, looking like he's going to get a podium. It was very unlucky for him to not get the race win. Final lap, taps the wall, he's out of the race. Again, you go even further back to when he was at Williams. 2021, Russell versus Bottas. Russell was trying to overtake Bottas. Russell just went a little bit wide, went onto the grass, hit into Bottas. And again, it's just the way he controls himself in these situations. Again, he completely blamed Bottas. He was having a right go at him when it actually was Russell's fault. And these things do not make you likeable. Again, Valtteri Bottas, quite a likeable driver. If you start chatting shit about him when it's not his fault, people aren't going to like you. And if you get into this amount of crashes, again, people are just going to start thinking, okay, he's got the pace, but he does not have the consistency, and consistency wins you championships. So now you sort of know exactly why he's got a lot of pace, but people don't really like him. And this is the scary thing, because I now need to talk about Kimi Antonelli, because he ties into this quite a lot. George Russell, for now, is the #1 driver at Mercedes. However, how long will this last? Kimi Antonelli's this new star come into Mercedes. He's pipped to be the next Verstappen type driver, and my God, is he doing well for his rookie season. And when a younger driver starts showing a bit more potential, it can really have detrimental effects to your #1 driver. McLaren example with Norris and Piastri. Norris, very much #1 driver, Piastri slowly closing up the gap from 2023, 2024, and now 2025. And if there ever becomes a situation where Antonelli is on par or a little bit behind Russell, I think they're going to start favouring Kimi Antonelli, because they will want Antonelli to do well. He is their long-term prospect. I mean, hey, there was even rumours about George Russell maybe not even staying at Mercedes when this whole Verstappen not being really happy at Red Bull situation was happening. Now, I would be very surprised in 2026 if Mercedes got rid of George Russell just for how well he's been doing in 2025, but we've seen crazier things happen. But then this is where it all sort of leads back to where I'm trying to get to in this video. 2026 and beyond. Because basically, the rumours all around swirling the F1 paddock are that Mercedes have got this regulations right. So they are pipped to potentially be one of, if not the fastest car come 2026. And if they are, that means George Russell would have a car for the first time in his career that has the chance to be a championship winner. And we've seen exactly, again, going back to McLaren with Lando Norris, just how much this can affect a #1 driver. Just look at how many issues he's having by himself, screwing up qualifying, having crashes that just aren't meant to be happening. This all screams George Russell as well. George Russell is this type of driver that Lando Norris is as well, where he can buckle under pressure. I've given so many examples in this video where he has, and in a championship, this could be the make or break that gives you the edge ahead of your teammate or whoever you are fighting the championship for. And this ties up the entire video perfectly, because first of all, as well, he's not my favourite driver at all, but you can clearly see there is talent there. Just people do not want to look at it. Maybe it's because of his arrogance, maybe it's because of the crashes, maybe it's because of Kimi Antonelli being the new potential favourite at Mercedes 2026 and beyond. But whatever it is, George Russell just isn't a fan favourite, and it's clearly shown by this final question I ask everyone here, because I know where I would put him, but it's crazy to think that a driver of this talent goes there. If you had to put a ranking of Charles Leclerc Oscar Piastri and George Russell in a 1-2-3 system, where do you put them all? And I can tell you right now, for me and for a lot of people out there, George Russell most likely would be that third option. But that is all for this video. Comment down below if you agree with me that he is an underrated driver, but at the same time it's also like, where else would you put him ahead of these drivers? Because he's not better than a Verstappen, he's not better than a Leclerc, he's not better than a Piastri in my opinion, but he's also not a bad driver. Like I mentioned, GP3 winner, F2 winner, race winner in F1. It's such a weird situation. And hey, we're going to find out very soon if he can last in a championship fight, because I really do believe 2026 or beyond, Mercedes will definitely have at least one season where they're the fastest. Let's see what George Russell can do. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy the rest of your week.